it's Chef Tommy V, and I'm so glad you're back in the kitchen with me. I hope you're going to pull up your seat and stay a while with me today as we make beef stew. It's the perfect time of the year to pull this recipe out of your repertoire and use it for the time needed most. It's holiday season and you need a meal on hand so that you can feed your family. You can pull this out and they can have it to eat on until they get the feast that you prepare for Thanksgiving. Let's get started. So one thing I want you to keep in mind, all of the ingredients and the measurements are listed below in the description. So while I'm moving through this recipe, if you feel like you missed a step, don't worry about it. I got you covered. Just check the description and you can get all the information you need for your list of ingredients and measurements. And for full instructions on how to prepare the recipe, find your way over to vincentcountry.com, click the food tab, and the recipe will be listed under there. So let's start with our stew beef. We're going to take our stew beef and we're going to move it into the bowl. I have 4 pounds, and that may sound like a lot, and it is, but it's with good reason. I'm going to take this recipe and I'm going to stretch it for you for 2 holidays. You'll be able to use a batch before Thanksgiving, freeze the other half of the batch, and use it right before Christmas. So it saves you some time and it allows for you to focus on your holiday preparations. So once you get the meat into the bowl, I'm going to sear it in the cast iron skillet prior to me putting it into our slow cooker, but I want to make sure that the meat is dry. So I'm going to take some paper towels and just pat the meat dry and get all the excess moisture out. That way it sears better for you. Okay, let me wash my hands. Okay, now I'm going to season our meat with some salt and pepper. Here's our salt. We'll season it up. This is the only salt and pepper that I'm going to put in the recipe until the very end once the stew is actually finished, and then we'll salt and pepper to taste. So we're just seasoning our meat. I'm going to get in here with my hands. The best tools you'll ever have in the kitchen are your hands, and toss this meat around. Now, I already have my cast iron skillet preheating because in order for the meat to sear, you need to make sure that your surface is nice and hot. If I put this meat in here and the temperature is not hot enough in here, what's going to happen is all the moisture from the meat is going to start leaching out and it'll prevent the sear from taking place. Okay, I'm going to get some olive oil into the pan. Get our meat right into the pan. While our stew beef is searing, we can go ahead and prep our vegetables and just toss them right into our slow cooker. So our baby Dutch potatoes, we're not going to do anything to them. We're just going to put them straight in. So I'm going to dump them in. I do have some small red potatoes. So we're going to quarter the red potatoes, cut them in 4s, just to make them more manageable bite-sized pieces. Put them right into the crock pot. So, and then I'm going to cut these into rounds. Watch your fingers as you get closer to the end so it doesn't slip on you and you cut your fingers. Let me clear my cutting board some and move these over to our crock pot. Next, let's work on our celery. Celery is softer, so I'm able to cut multiple pieces at one time. I have 4 stalks here, and I'm just going to cut them and place them into the pot. Now we're going to work on our onions. I've already pre-peeled them, and we're going to keep the heads on the bottom so that all the pieces stay together. And then I'm just going to cut it in half and then cut down the onion. The Veggie Prep is the most time-consuming aspect of making beef stew, or any kind of stew for that matter. But once you get rolling, it's easy peasy. So we'll get our onions into the pan or slow cooker. We have some rosemary here, and I'm gonna just take it off the stem by just going in the opposite direction. And I also have some parsley. I'm gonna mince these all together so I can do it all at one time. I remember when I was younger and my mom used to make meals in the crock pot, and coming home from school and just knowing that we were having dinner was a wonderful thing. And the smell and the aromas that came from the food that had been cooking from the night before was amazing. Those experiences are experiences I want to continue to share with my children so that they have the memories and will begin to pass those along to their kids as well. Food memories last forever. Let me get this meat. Our meat is ready. Bring this closer. We'll go ahead and put our meat into our pan. When all these flavors meld together for this long period of time, it's going to be a beautiful thing. So now that we have the bulk of our vegetables inside of our slow cooker, we're going to add in our more liquid type ingredients. We have some diced tomatoes, some tomato paste, and also some beef stock that we're going to use. And we have some Better Than Bouillon beef flavor that's going to go in there. So let's get our can open. Here's a fun fact for you. The dirtiest utensil in a kitchen is the can opener. Why? Because people open up cans and then they just toss this right back in the drawer. Just thought you'd know that. That doesn't happen in my kitchen though. So don't worry, everything's clean. Put in our tomato paste. Just a quick note, anytime I'm using packaged goods from the grocery store, I always choose items that are no sodium, or if they don't have a no sodium, then I do the one that has the least amount of sodium in it. I add my own salt and pepper, that way I'm controlling the sodium content of my recipes. So let's get the tomato paste out the can. Still have a little bit in here, so I'm actually going to take some of my beef stock and just pour it in here as a liquid to try to wash off the sides to get as much of the product out as possible. There we go. I'll pour in my beef stock. I don't want to fill the slow cooker up to the rim with liquid, because as they cook down, they're going to generate liquid as well. And so by the time this is all finished, it will be up to the top rim of the pan. So make sure you leave a couple of inches so you leave room for the dish to expand. So let's put in our Better Than Bouillon and our herbs. Okay, we'll add our herbs in. Now we're just going to mix everything together, and then we're going to let the slow cooker do what the slow cooker does. It's a lot of ingredients in here, so you got to use all of your muscle to get everything mixed in. While the slow cooker is cooking the food, it helps everything start being incorporated so the flavors are melding together versus just isolated. Okay, that looks pretty good. We're going to put our lid on. So here's the deal. When you're using a slow cooker, crock pot, whatever slow cook version that you're using, you can cook the night before. So you can prep all your ingredients, you can turn your pot on and you can put it on low and let it cook all through the night while you're out of the house the next day for work, come home and the food is finished. Or if you wake up in the morning time and you want to prep your meal this way, leave out the door, come back so dinner is ready, you can put your slow cooker on high. So in this case, because it's early enough, I'm going to put the slow cooker on high, and it'll take about 4 hours for everything to become nice and tender and ready to eat. And with these potatoes in here, there will be no need to add a slurry or anything to thicken everything, because the potato starch is going to take all of that liquid and create a nice gravy-like substance that's going to bind all of this stuff together. Perfect for sopping it up with some biscuits or some bread, or maybe even some cornbread. We'll see. Oh yes, look at her. She's a thing of beauty. Oh my goodness. Look how it's thickened from the potatoes. Look at the meat. You can tell it's super tender. It smells outstanding. Now remember, we only salted and peppered our meat, so we need to add some more salt and pepper. And this is where it's on you. I want you to season it to taste. If you're not supposed to have sodium, you stop right here. There's still plenty of flavor from all of the different vegetables and from your meat and from your potatoes, and you have the herbs that are in here. So you can stop right here. Ways you can eat this: you can serve it over rice, you can eat it in a bowl and just use cornbread or bread, any type of bread that you like. You can use biscuits. I'm going to taste it. So listen, we done added our salt, added our pepper. Any cook worth their salt knows you taste your food before you serve it, because you want to make sure before you allow anyone else to taste it that it passed your taste test. So let's taste it. And also, if you eating food and you don't think that the cook is putting a spoon inside the pot you eating from, think again. Let's taste it. That's it. She is a thing of beauty. Delicious. To top it all off, I add my love into every single dish I prepare. Food is a powerful thing, and I use it to get you to stay a while. Hey, I'm glad you stayed a while. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and comment, and let me know some things that you would like for me to share with you on my YouTube channel. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you know when I post.